Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part 14 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776, and in today's episode, we're going to be moving on, escaping Galzus and crew. That would have been wild had he been teleported to closer to us. Baron Raedric, we regret to report that Prince Leaf has made it clear of the castle. He's escaped. And just what were you doing, you idiots? We had them trapped like rats, and you still couldn't handle it. We offer our deepest apologies, sire. We're truly sorry. Your apologies are as empty as your brains. Clearly, this requires a man of greater intellect. Send for General Heisenhow and his knights immediately. He is to lead his troops in pursuit of these upstart rebels. If they escape into Thracia proper, there's no end to the trouble they could cause. At once, my lord. Hold! What became of that girl? Marita, was it? I've not seen her since this fiasco started. I'm aware of her fate, Baron Raedric, but I wished to inform you later when you were in a better mood. Someone attacked the guards that were stationed and made off with her. I cannot begin to express my apology, sire. I swear, I've never encountered a group of adults more incapable of being useful. Do you buffoons even have a clue who the assailant was? There's no doubt he was quite skilled, based on what's left of the guards. But one of our own claims to have seen that sellsword Galzus near the site of the attack. Are you certain we can trust him? No. Galzus? What's more, another man is sure he's seen a brand on Galzus' back, the mark of Odd, to be specific. Though if that's true, it would mean he's part of the Isakian royal family. I'm already aware of his heritage. I'm not so foolish as to hire a sellsword without knowing everything about him. He is indeed Isakian royalty, cousin to Prince Shannon, in fact. With the deaths of his kin, he's technically the Prince of Rivaux himself. But Prince Shannon is one of the most influential rebel leaders. Are we to open this castle to a man who shares this blood? I can see I'll have to spell this out for you. Galzus' kin, the royalty of Rivaux, betrayed their home kingdom of Isaac, and were killed for it. The man leading the troops that defeated them was none other than Shannon's grandfather, King Mananan. Since then, Galzus has endured nothing but hardship from a very young age. Do you honestly think such a man would ever help the likes of Shannon and his rebels? I see your point. Ah, then Galzus would have every reason to free that girl, wouldn't he? She bore the brand of Odd on her back as well. Sire? It's nothing you need concern yourself with. We can't do anything about the girl now, but as for Galzus, our position is too vulnerable to risk losing him. Don't act against him unless I say otherwise. His mind consumed by regret, Leaf managed to escape Munster. He was joined by several members of the Magi who pledged themselves to his service. Yet there was no time to celebrate. An enormous price had been placed on Leaf's head, and countless bounty hunters were determined to claim it. What's more, the Knights of Munster had doggedly pursued Leaf, and their forces were growing dangerously close. Chapter 7, The Shield of Thracia. Prince Leaf, the Knights of Munster will catch up with us before long. What should I do? There are two options. First, you could flee through the mountain range to the west and lose the knights in the rocky terrain. Second, you could continue south and seek refuge in Castle Meath. In either case, it will be necessary to petition Thracia for aid immediately. Ask Thracia for aid? That's absurd! Those damnable cowards took everything from me. My kingdom, my mother, my father. I'll not come crawling to them with cup in hand. Do you expect to fight off the Knights of Munster with the strength of your pride alone? We are not fighting to satisfy your own sense of vengeance, my prince. We fight to liberate North Thracia from the tyranny of the Empire. You yourself said that there was no hardship you would be unwilling to endure to accomplish this. Did you think that the only kind of hardship in this war would be from battle? Even supposing I did agree, what makes you think we can trust Thracia? They are allies of the Empire. And if foreign invaders amass at their borders, they'll respond with force all the same. I imagine the retaliation from General Hannibal of Meath would be especially great. He's a famed military leader that the people revere as the Shield of Thracia. Between us and Raedric's men, who do you think he would help? I understand. We'll take refuge in Castle Meath and head for Tara afterward. You want to make for Tara? As in, the city refusing to take part in child hunts? The same city being besieged by the Imperial army for the rebellion? Going there with the small force we have now is certain death. Does my prince wish an early grave? Tara is my home away from home, you could say. The Duke of Tara sheltered me for years and was killed by the Empire for it. I have many friends there, Augustus. I won't abandon them now. Very well, but let's discuss this later. Right now, focus on our escape.
What's all this ruckus?
Couple rebels in Munster kicked the hornet's nest. I hear the ringleader is a young'un named Leif, a Leoster prince with a price on his head to match. The boy's got stones, all right. Almost seems like a shame to kill him in, but coin is coin. He's coming our way already. Haven't had a bounty this convenient in a long time.
Huh.
Alrighty, so Chapter 7, The Shield of Thracia. And our best bet is to actually move most of our units northward. Something very funny you can do in this chapter, I don't recommend it, especially if you like experience points, is you can actually put a unit right here on top of this forest, and you can put 3 units right here. 1, 2, 3 along this road, and you will not have to suffer any reinforcements. It actually makes the conversation that happens the next turn even funnier. I don't plan on doing it because it just doesn't make any sense for me to do it. Let's go ahead and I think we'll use the Brave Sword for the time being and dismount. We're also going to put Karen within range, and then Nana as well. The rest of our units need to huddle up north and deal with our reinforcements that we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of turns. You do want to move all your units northward as much as possible, and we'll see why this is very shortly here. And then we will put Dawson right here. So Shiva and his crew of mercenaries are coming up after us. We are technically about to be sandwiched, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Welcome back, General Hannibal. I see our dungeon is considerably more full than when I departed. What, pray tell, happened while I was away?
A group of suspicious characters were making their way down the mountains near here, so we saw fit to arrest them. I reckon they're bandits from the eastern frontier.
What have they to say for themselves?
We're just villagers, and other obvious tripe. What kind of villagers trek through the Thracian mountains? They must be up to something, or otherwise, why lie? What's more, we saw what looked like a knight among them, but the man escaped. We've assembled search parties to find him.
Understood. I'll go have a word with the prisoners myself. In the meantime, there's some sort of commotion over in Munster. Raedric may be up to something. Let's not give that fiend any openings, eh?
Ha! Of course, my lord.
I must reach Lord Leif at once. I pray that he's still safe.
I cannot allow myself to be delayed any longer. Sister, please make your way back to Tara. Am I that much of a burden to you, Sir Finn? Not at all. Your presence has been most heartening, but where I go, I'm not certain I could protect you. When I left Tara, I swore to St. Heim that for those willing to defend the city, there was nothing I wouldn't do. If I can help Lord Leaf, and in so doing help Tara, then I must. We are both bound by duty, Sir Finn. Allow me to uphold my own oath.
I understand, sister. Let's get moving before we lose any more daylight. Alrighty, so this is the chapter in which we receive Finn and Safi back. And due to this, we are going to be moving southward. And you do have to dismount Finn in order to get over these mountains right here. Do keep that in mind. You want Finn over in this forest as soon as you possibly can. Now, these left brigands are actually kind of strong. They've got a berserker boss and even some interesting like items, another lockpick. All of them have like weapons and items you can steal for the most part, or in our case, capture. It is not worth it, in my humble opinion, to go that route, so I don't bother.
You're headed for Tara. Best take this antitoxin with you, then. If you get stuck with one of them venom weapons, just pour that over your wound and it'll clear right up. I hear lots of those bandits to the west like using poisons. One dose of the stuff and you'll be in for a bad time, so keep that antitoxin handy.
Perfect.
Hey there, soldier. At the risk of sounding too forward, I've always admired the Panzer Ritter, you know. You folks are just so brave with a body to match. Beg pardon? You're not with the Panzer Ritter? Oh, come on. I had this whole spiel prepared and everything. There go my plans. Look, one of the knights in the Panzer Ritter was by here earlier and he left this here. I thought it was the classic pretend to forget something so you have an excuse to come back ploy, but I guess not. Well, see that this gets back to him, will you?
Master Seal. We have just the unit we're going to give that to, actually. Fergus. We're going to be giving that to him at the moment we can. Let's move our units in such a way that they can be useful. Let's put you here. And that's it for these folks over here. And we're going to end our turn.
The rebels have a head start, but they are only on foot. Eisenhower, chase them down with your knights and eliminate them. Don't allow them to set even 1 foot on Castle Meath's soil.
Aye, my lord, but Thracia is our sworn ally. Why would the rebels head to Castle Meath?
Oh, please. Thracia and the Empire can mix no better than oil and water. We may be allies, but we're certainly not friends. If the rebels have any sense, they'll use that to their advantage.
Ah, I see.
Perhaps I'm overestimating them, but I'll not be made of a fool of twice. Still, we can't overplay our hand. Hannibal's elite knights, the Panzer Ritter, lie in wait inside the castle. Attacking them would be tantamount to a declaration of war. If they take the field, you must not lay a hand on them, no matter what.
Aye, my lord.
Alright, so other than those 2 mercenaries that are moving upward, the rest of them should move downward, which is exactly in our plan and in our benefit. And here we're going to be dealing with all of these units as best as we possibly can to make it a little bit easier to defeat Eisenhower. This is one of those parts where having the rapier on you is a good idea, especially to conserve something like the Brave Sword. But the Brave Sword is stronger than the rapier, even with effective damage. So it's not really that big a deal if you don't have it on you. I think Laura is the one who has my rapier currently, which is kind of funny. Alright, so that right there is a problem. We're going to mount and equip the Javelin.
Yeah, Shiva has a movement star, and when he does proc that, it's not exactly the the best thing in the world. Alright, so Hicks can go ahead and trade that Master Seal over to Fergus. And then we also need to do a little bit of a cleanup here. So let's Brave Axe you. Perfect. Dawson proving himself useful. It's more like the Brave Axe is proving himself useful. And then we can attack and kill Eisenhower. Now we are going to attack him twice, but it's not likely we're going to hit both times. I hope we do.
You stubborn idiots, think you can defeat me?
Come on and hit. Alright, we hit once. That's more than enough for the time being. Alright, so we can do a little bit of chip damage here. I think it'd actually be better if we moved here, because we want her to be in the range of Fergus next turn, or this at the end of this turn. All right, just a little bit of chip damage, not anything fantastic. And then we can mount up and attack with the Brave Sword here. So as long as we hit both times, or, well, actually I think we're hitting, yeah, as long as we hit both times, we'll KO. Ah. We could try this. That wouldn't be so bad. Let's move. Right here, we'll use the Iron Blade. We might not finish this guy off, actually. I kind of want to finish Eisenhower, though. Eisenhower has a vulnerary, and he will definitely heal up. So let's go ahead and attack this guy regardless. He's not going to pose much of a threat to most of our units. Now, the reason why I dismounted our Fergus was because of the Rapier. Rapier being super effective against all mounted units. I don't think 12 damage. 12 plus 6, 18. So he's not going to do much to Nana, so that's fine. I do have to kind of worry about him coming around and attacking Fergus, though. I almost don't even want to do this, just because I know that if Fergus gets attacked, he might actually get killed. Very nice.
What madness! I can't believe they...
Poor Eisenhower. Defeated in his youth. Or age. Who knows? Yeah, so this is not good. Only thing I could do is potentially give him, like, capture bait instead. I could do that, actually. And we are going to do that. So, I haven't done this before in this chapter, or in this game, but that's because I haven't really needed to. But, in this case, I think it would be better if he captured Laura than kills Fergus. Not too great, are you? Yeah, because of Finn having to deal with killing edges over here, it's just not smart to not have a scroll on him, particularly. Alright, so with that being said, we're pretty well done with Eisenhow's group. Once you defeat Eisenhow, the reinforcements stop. Now, we didn't really see that, but the reinforcements continue on for many turns, and you'll just keep getting 3 knights every turn with javelins and rapiers. And they will pose a considerable threat over and over and over again. Perfect. And we are going to be promoting Fergus immediately. All right, rescue. Take and drop. Let's not put her in that mountain. And we can take our iron sword, lockpick, and rapier back. And continue moving. Oh, you're...
Ah, sister, it's been a while.
Why are you doing this? I know you're not a bad person.
This is the job. I'm a sellsword, and frankly, the details are no business of yours. Time for you to leave, sister. I'm trouble to be around.
I'm not going anywhere.
You really willing to risk your life for that little boy?
If it came to that, I would give my life to protect Prince Leaf, yes. Losing Prince Leaf, losing what he represents, would be an irreplaceable loss to the entire Thracian peninsula. If I needed to give my life to save his, it would only be right to do so.
You're quite the fool, sister. Well, all the better. I can appreciate that kind of naive innocence.
Will you agree to aid the prince then?
This is getting absurd, but yes, I suppose I will. Just have one thing. Don't talk so lightly about throwing your life away. There's nothing more loathsome than people rushing toward their own death.
I apologize. I'll be mindful of that.
Can I ask you something, though? What is it that you want? What is it that brightens your day, that brings you laughter?
I suppose that I want to see everyone around me to be happy. When they laugh, when they feel joy, I share in it.
I see. Well, I already said you were quite the fool. You know, I don't think I even know your name. I'm Shiva of Saban, by the way. What do you go by?
Safi. I'm Safi of Tara.
And just like that, they both get... Or, no, actually, no. He gets... it's a one-way support there. That's kind of interesting. And we get Shiva. So if you, in Chapter 2X, capture this guy to take his killing edge, he'll come back with a new one. However, if you release him, you cannot get him. It's just done and over with. Shiva is a Myrmidon, and he does promote to Swordsmaster with a follow-up critical modifier of 4, which is wildly strong. That means his killing edge is actually good for more than just looking pretty. He has pretty substantially good gross in most areas, 70% HP, 45% strength, 5% magic, 50% skill, 35% speed, 60% luck, 30% defense, 20% con, and 2% movement. He comes with 1 Vigor Star, 6 movement, B rank in swords, which is pretty wild. That means he can use things like the Brave Sword and the Flame Sword right away, right off rip. And he comes with the Soul skill, which is a skill percentage chance for an attack to heal for damage dealt. This is not that great in the early game, but because of his high skill growth, he will cap skill, and at some point you're going to have soul procs all the time. It's not something to be relied on, but it is something that can be useful.
Now, my issue with what happened here is that if Shiva gets a movement star, he really can mess up your whole plan. Now, if he gets 2 movement stars, which is actually possible before you are able to reach him with Finn and Safi, it can prove to be mightily difficult, especially if he gets a movement star while moving upward, because Safi is the only one who can recruit him. This is something I was ready to reset for, but with all that being said, it did go pretty well as planned, as best as I could have hoped. All of these cell swords are just going to suicide on Shiva, which I don't like. I would far and away prefer them to go for Finn, but because I had to move out of the way with Finn and put Safi in the way to speak with Shiva, there's really nothing I could have done about that. I'm just going to end turn and let things go. And Dawson showing that he's still a decently competent unit. Alright, so let us go ahead and see. Yeah, he's going to take out all these guys, because as long as he hits on his second hit, which, you know, he's got a 99% chance to do so, he's going to just finish them off. Now, I'm guessing the reason why these guys didn't decide to continue attacking him, they're kind of terrifying. Like, this guy even has a silver sword, which is pretty crazy. I'm guessing the reason why they decided not to attack Shiva is because of their hit rates. That would be my only guess, because otherwise I don't really understand why they wouldn't. All right, Finn, Brave Lance time. I've missed you, Finn. One of the best units in my team, and he had to disappear for a little while. I like that this game does that, though. Gives you some pretty busted units in the beginning of the game, and then you just look at them and say, what is this? Like, why are we getting units this strong in the early game? And the reason being is because they're not sticking around. Like, for instance, Avel. She's only there for that very short period of time, and then she's totally gone. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're going to use the Master Seal right away and get ourselves a Ranger instead of a Sword Knight. Fergus is receiving his promotion. Usually I promote Asbel, then Fergus. I kind of pick like certain combat units first to do, and then I worry about other such units like utility units afterwards. But Fergus gets a pretty reasonable buff to his stats with this. It's kind of too bad that he didn't have any magic to speak of, and he's only got a 10% growth. So it's not really likely that you're going to have magic with him. But as you can see, he is fatigued. So that's going to come into discussion in next chapter for sure. But I thought I'd just mention it now. Units that have more fatigue than max HP cannot be deployed in the deployment order. Well, in the deployment menu of your chapters that you finally get deployment as. Next chapter is the first chapter in which we can choose who we deploy and who we do not deploy. Any unit that has over that amount of fatigue cannot be deployed. Now, see, Nana, if we want to deploy her next chapter, which I do, I can't use her the rest of this chapter. Literally, cannot use her. I can't use her to heal, I can't use her to anything, like, for anything, period. Which is kind of a shame, I do have to admit. Alright, so go ahead and attack this guy with a short lance. Yes, finally getting some strength. Thank you, Karen. Ooh, incredible. That is our first move level up in this game. So now she has 9 movement, and she will get a point of movement upon promotion, from what I'm, if I'm not mistaken. We are going to be promoting her relatively soon. It just depends on when I can get the Master Seal to promote her. I have several units that might need a promotion before her, so there is that as well. Now, we do have Asbel to be able to heal, So what we're going to do is we are actually going to give away all of our staves to Asbel for the time being, so I don't accidentally decide to heal. Or do I need her next chapter? No, I don't, actually. I don't, do I? Don't really need her next chapter or the chapter afterwards, being honest. Well, that's a shame. Alright, so let's rescue you. You'll notice that I am rescuing and dropping Dawson as much as possible, and part of the reason why that is because he has the slowest movement of all of my party right now. Everybody else is either mounted or has 6 movement. Oh, very nice movement star. Yes, and these guys will attack Finn. Not too sure why they'll attack Finn instead of Shiva, but they just do. So, with that being said, we're going to take them all out, which is great, so that we don't have to worry about them when we come over to them with the rest of our units. Because Finn does have the Baldur scroll on him, he can't be crit, so the Silver Sword Myrmidon is actually the most threatening here. Alright, so I think that guy was intimidated by that level up. And then we are just going to finish up here. Yeah, it's because he has too much defense. And all the cell swords are gone. Pretty decent level up, I would say. And we can heal up Fergus. Fergus is going to be getting some arena on in the end of this chapter, because we do have quite a bit we can do in the southern portion of this chapter. Move you here. Yep, and we can still do some more rescue drop shenanigans, which is nice. Alright, so we can rescue you and move on down. Alrighty, with that being said, I do want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow. And or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.